Our number one interior offensive lineman, Grey Zabel. I believe it's the highest player we've picked since interior player we've picked since Hutch, which was cool. I was able to be part of that with Coach Holmgren and Ted and Scott McLuhan and that crew. So it's pretty fun. And Hutch loves him. Everybody loves this guy. He's just buttoned up, tough, smart, reliable, our kind of guy. And really, our first exposure was at the Senior Bowl, and he had a great week down there, and it was like, and we felt like 18 to where we were, it was like a sweet spot for the interior offensive lineman. Now Booker went 10 or 12. But yeah, so just really excited. So go ahead.
Yeah, echo everything John said. Kind of been on my radar since the Senior Bowl and the exposure. That's kind of when we get introduced to the whole process. And just really excited to add him to the crew and get to know him more. But he smashed the process, and everybody was really excited, and just really excited for him to come in tomorrow and get rolling.
Where do you see him playing, Mike?
He's going to start at guard and work interior. But the cool thing about Gray is he can play all 5 spots. Hopefully we're not moving around much. He sticks at guard for a long time here, but he does have that versatility.
How good of a fit with what you guys want to do with the offensive line now with Clinton and everything?
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much into well, he has to be the wide zone guy. This guy's a great pass protector. He can hit his targets on the move. He's really athletic. He's tough. He finishes blocks, which is one of my favorite things about him. So in that way, he's gonna fit in great.
John, this is the highest that you've drafted an FCS player during your time here. Are you seeing that gap close a little bit with the FCS to the FBS players? It seems like, especially the offensive line, Ali Market being another example.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, there's been a number of offensive linemen from lower divisions that are getting picked earlier.
Yeah, Kirshner was showing me a picture of their 2022, their national championship team, and all 5 of those guys are playing in the National Football League. They're coached really well. It's a great program. Great offensive line coach. You can tell when guys are coached up, taught well, and that's one of them, regardless of the level.
For both of you guys.
But yeah, offensive linemen for sure. I mean, you're like going all over they're coming all shapes and sizes, and you gotta find the competitors regardless of the level of competition.
For both of you guys, sorry about that. We were just kind of blown away by him on the conference call. He's down to earth, real fun guy. Talk to me about your guys' experience with him in that process.
It kind of has Hutch's personality a little bit. Dave was talking about before. Yeah, he's a fun dude.
Yeah, we totally knew he was going to have a Settlers of Catan game box right there at his draft party, which won a lot of points with me too. So we got that going for us.
What did Hutch tell you about? Because Gray mentioned meeting with Hutch and being really impressed with that process. What did Hutch tell you about him?
Just the person, what he's going to bring to the competitor, what he's going to bring to the room. He's a little throwback, he gets rocking the stash, and I'm not sure if he's still rocking it, but everybody just did a great job with the interviews and the Zoom process with him too. Like all the interviews, he just exudes this really cool confidence, toughness. And like I said, it's like a smart, tough, reliable guy. 35 starts, and yeah. And they play good ball, man. That's really great. That's a really good program.
And I know we've asked you about this in the past, but what kind of resources having a Hall of Fame guard on a staff with you to help evaluate these linemen?
Yeah, there's the way when you see him right now, you wouldn't think he's right. He's so skinny, he's like 225 right now. But no, it's been awesome with Hutch. It's he's his own pilot now, right? So he flies himself around and checks out the guys, so it's pretty cool having him with us.
Zabel told us he turned down 6-figure NIL deals to go Power 5 transfer. What did that tell you about him?
I mean, he's just a loyal dude. I mean, he's really close with his family. He's a good person. I mean, these guys. He gets recruited there. He's confident, loyal, tough dude.
John, you talked about offensive line being a need, and now you got your top interior offensive lineman on the board.
Yeah.
How does it set you up for the rest of the draft? Now you got a lot of picks tomorrow and coming up over the next couple of days.
I think 9 right now. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, there's still guys. I had to stop myself there. There's still some good, damn good players up there, right? So yeah, no, we're excited to keep rocking. I mean, this is like we've talked about this before. The first night's like this, like entertainment world, and tomorrow we wait forever to pick, and then Saturday's like roll up sleeves, and Saturday's the most fun day. But yeah, tomorrow's gonna be fun as well because there's a lot of really good players up there.
There were reports that you guys had offers to move back and chose to stick and pick. Are those accurate?
Those are not accurate. We were discussing it, and things did not come to fruition.
John, Jalen played with him, obviously, at North Dakota State.
Right, roommates. Yeah.
Did you learn anything unique about him from Jalen in the process?
Yeah,
or
I
anything?
stayed away from him personally, but the guys all have all the guys have talked to Jalen about him, and yeah, he's a great guy. But he just checks, like I said, he just checks every box. There's nothing you can really, except what did you say he was drinking Busch Light or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, you're not checking a box there. He needs to switch it up a little bit. Yeah.
This question is for both of you guys.
Yeah, he's in college. Good point. He's in college.
Sorry, John.
Yeah.
This is for both of you guys. So I'm sure that you have 6 or 8 boxes when you're scouting guards that you would like to have checked, just like all teams. But is there 1 or 2 boxes that you say, hey, look, this is like the most important, we gotta have, this is non-negotiable? Are there a couple of traits or attributes that you're really hunting for at guard?
Yeah, I would say the physicality. I would say toughness, physicality. The finish, the will to finish. It just stands out when you see guys. I'm sure you've noticed this over the years now. When you see guys finishing downfield. I mean, it looks rare, which guys cleaning up, and he's one of those guys.
What about the outside zone fits him, or what about him fits the outside zone?
Yes, from the question a little bit earlier, but I like how he finishes the blocks and then finding his targets down the field in space. Obviously, he's a really great athlete, how he moves, and then, it's easy to overlook pass protection. You talk wide zone all the time, but you could argue that's kind of where it starts in the evaluation process. And pretty hard to find a rep that he had a hard time winning down in Mobile. So, and he took a lot of them.
Yeah, you talk about Mobile, and you guys were there in the big circle and the 1v1 drills. He took all comers with every position on the line.
Yeah.
Have you seen something like that before?
No, he was stealing reps. It was pretty cool. And he stood out. I mean, he could have. I mean, he could have left. He was voted like the practice player of the week. And a lot of those guys leave. They don't, stay for the game, and they've improved their, draft value or whatever. And he stayed and competed and played guard and center in the game, and he stood out down there for sure.
Mike, what is his John, were you done?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What does his versatility say about his football IQ?
Yeah, talking about how smart he is. I mean, again, hopefully, we find a home for him at one position, and he lives there for a really long time for us. But I think it just speaks to his savvy. It's not easy to move. It's not easy to find those guys that can play interior and a tackle. So he's one of them, and he's ours now.
And he said he's worked out lately. What does that say just about his understanding of the magnitude and his ability to take the next level?
Yeah, I wish there was more to that. I mean, I love that they work out together and they have a prior relationship, but hate to say it's probably more of a coincidence than anything else.
Mike,
We totally talked to Abe about it.
Yeah, Abe was totally.
Abe's scouting report was amazing.
Abe,
too.
come on in.
We hear about different attributes for a left tackle versus a right tackle. In your way of thinking, is there any difference in attributes for a left guard or right guard? And then the follow-up to that is, you said you're going to start him at guard. Are you going to start him at left guard or right guard?
I wouldn't say there's a huge difference between either one. I mean, we'll see how it shakes out on what side he's going to start, and if there's one place that he plays particularly better than the other, or the rest of the guys on the roster on how well they play. We're trying to find the best cohesive unit right now. There's a lot of competition along our line, and to say he's going to be slotted at this spot, probably too premature to give you that.
John, there was a number of offensive linemen that went the first round here tonight. Were you kind of expecting to see that kind of run on linemen, and any other big kind of picture thoughts about how the first round played out across the league?
Yeah, we had our like our strategy meeting. I don't know when, I'm losing track, but a couple nights ago, pro scouts go through every team and rank like the top 5 needs. They talk about upcoming contracts. You know, basically, like if they're running the team, this is what they would do, right? And I want to say like 80% of the top 3 needs by team where there was offensive linemen involved there. So it was even more eye-opening than I had thought, you know, throughout the process. Like, you know, everybody's looking for them, right? And so I don't know how many went. I lost track there for a minute at the end, but I know Josh got taken right at the end.
It was 8.
8, yeah.
John, is there a particular area scout or someone in the personnel department you want to call out?
Yeah, thanks. Kirk Parrish and Trent both went in there. Kirk was fired up. You got to call him. Kirk was here in 2000 when we drafted Hutch too, so that was pretty fun to, you know, have him. He's a super passionate scout. Like, you know, like if people disagree on a player, he's still got that old school kind of like he bows up a little bit and stuff, you know. So it was pretty cool to be able to take one of his guys.
John, with what you were just talking about with every team needing, not every team, but most teams needing offensive line, did that contribute to staying at 18, even though you guys discussed trade back?
We felt pretty good about being able to, if we did trade back, that there was going to be a couple guys there that we'd be able to go to, but he was number 1, so it was going to have to be a cool deal for us, and yeah, he ended up just being the guy.
Going into tonight, what was your confidence level that you would still be there at 18 people?
You know what? I'd say like 80%. Everybody was talking like they didn't know when the guards were going to start going. We got a little jiggy when Book got taken with Dallas, but there's a couple guys there that we liked, but yeah.
36.5-inch vertical jump for a
Yeah,
offensive line.
he's a really good athlete. I mean, you can tell just by looking at him, right, with the mustache and the body type. Yeah. No, the guy's a good athlete. He's really quick.
Did John Benton have what was his role in this selection?
Yeah, the whole
Excited.
offensive staff. I mean,
Yeah.
he's as much as JB can jump right now. You know where he's at. He was doing it. He was really excited. I know Clint's really excited. The rest of the guys, you know, Jo, Justin Outen, Rico, those guys had a really high opinion of him throughout the process too. So everybody was really fired up.
To be honest, for both you guys, but more so Coach, you know, being on the phone with him, the personality comes across, not only humor, but he's a competitor, right? What does it mean to bring somebody like that into your locker room and know that that's going to be a fit?
Well, I had to get some. Believe it or not, I had to get emotion out of him on the phone. So I think I succeeded a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you know, obviously family and friends were there, and you know, it's cool when you're on the phone with them, and then you go back, and then you know they show the TV clip of you know the party going on, and you just understand how big of a moment it is for him and his family, and I'm just really proud of like all the stuff that you got to do to get to that moment. But those are the guys we want in our locker room. They're going to come in and compete, and we've talked about this at length, I feel like, but just the guys that love the process of doing football every day, and that shows up in how much you can improve from a day-to-day basis, and then how long how much you love your teammates up, how you're able to connect with all the guys around you on a day-in, day-out basis, and just operate the way that we want to operate here. And so that's one of the reasons we're so excited.
Mike, you mentioned competition when it came to the quarterback position the other day when we talked to you. Now adding Grey to Anthony and Christian and Satawa, both guys are all young. These guys still have high opinions of. What do you think that's going to do to your group now to kind of try to push them forward?
Oh yeah, man, huge layup question, but it's. I mean, you're adding. I mean, look, the guys laugh like we're going to get reps here. We're going to maximize the amount of time that we're given. These guys are going to have ample opportunity to show what they can do, and you want to make decisions in a timely manner so you can gel the group together. But we've said this, like, we're really excited about the guys we have as well, and they're going to have ample opportunity to show what they can do, and really confident that it's going to be able to gel and really surprise the people this year.
If Booker was still there when you guys were picking, was it still Grey over Booker? And if so, what stood out about him? Like, why him over Booker?
I'd rather not talk about Booker. Okay. but he was their number one interior offensive lineman. So Gray was he's an athlete. He just checked all the boxes. Book's gonna be a great player too.
John, you mentioned a lot of good players in this draft, still having 4 picks tomorrow. What kind of opportunity is that, either to pick 4 guys or if you want to move around and do things?
Yeah, if we can find people that want to move around, like pretty quiet tonight. It's gonna be great. I mean, we're excited, to be able to. We feel like we're really gonna be able to impact our team with our kind of guys, and like with respect to all the guys that are here right now, bring in the people that like will be able to work with them, compete with them, and just continue down that path of competing every day and adding as much depth as you possibly can.
John, you guys have spent a lot of capital, both free agency and draft, on defense the last few years and have built that up. Offensive line, now you got 2 first-round picks, potentially with Christian Haynes and Abe Lucas, 2 third-round picks. How do you feel about the capital that you're putting into the offensive side of the ball and what you want to do there?
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily, it's not something you go into saying we're like always just trying to like add the best players we possibly can, regardless of position. And now obviously there's like, there's positional importance, but, we don't go into this thing saying, we're not going to spend money here, we're not going to draft here. It's like we're just constantly taking the best players at the best spots and making the right decisions for the organization, whether you're spending money or spending capital. I would say with Christian, Bradford, Tala, adding Gray to that group. I mean, Jalen, Olu, like pretty cool group. And like I said before, JB and Rico and Coobs and those guys they're excited about the guys, and so. When they got here, they really liked him. They liked the evaluation, going through the beginning of the draft process, through the combine. When free agency started, there's a couple guys we were, interested in, but we also knew, like, okay, how are we weighing this in terms of what we can do in the draft and or, players that are going to be casualties.
There may be some variance to this, but when you're evaluating players like
rocking it.
When
Yeah,
you're
nice
evaluating players like Gray that have come from growing up on a farm and understanding the work ethic and things like that.
You've been talking to Trent Kirshner, yeah.
From that perspective, how much does that go into play when you're thinking about the mindset of the type of players you're wanting to bring in? And does his stand out as maybe more of an individualized case compared to others just because of that?
I mean, I'm biased. I'm from Wisconsin, so farms, tough guys, we like those guys,
The farm is like one of those prerequisite boxes that you have to check.
Especially on the Trent Kirshner report, yeah.
Hey, can you
Zabel
just,
playing so much tackle the last couple of years, how much was the Senior Bowl clinched it for, or you needed to see that to know how he projected your offense?
Yeah, they just seeing them compete against all the guys were down there. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys that were playing tackle this year that you project. I mean, to guard, Tal was one of those guys last year. But anytime you see it, I mean, it's only going to help you.
You said this was your number one interior offensive lineman. Were there any other positions that were like, it was a tough call at 18, or was it a pretty clear cut which position you were going to go?
I mean, our grading scale is based off of our team, not the National Football League. So based on, like, those grades hook up need and value, and that's where he stood out. But yeah, there's some good players up there that happens every year, right? You pick somebody and you're kind of like, okay, now. Then you watch, especially you watch these guys go, you're kind of like, it's like, watching people take food off the table. You're just like watching it go away. It's like, okay, all right. You feel bad for the scouts because there's so much time put into it on every player, and these guys just, especially Saturday, the names just kind of like rip off. These guys spend so much time getting to know the player, the person, the families, the coaches, like all that. So yeah.
John, what went into the decision to waive Cam Young, and how does that impact how you feel about your defensive tackle right now?
What went into the decision, I'm sorry?
to waive Cameron Young.
I'll keep that in-house. But how do we feel about the position?
Yeah.
We like the position. We'll be looking to add there as we go this weekend or further into the spring. And we usually don't comment on why we let guys go. But Cam's a great guy, really good person.
Anything else? Thank you.
Are you on TV or something? I know, he's like always dressed.
I almost asked you.
I was wondering if that was something you guys looked at closely.
6'6", 300-pound pitcher. He said he touched little.